Patrick, thanks so much for joining us here on Sharks Pregame Live. Everyone right now during this time of the year is looking at playoff odds, who's getting in, what this game means, and one of those sources is HockeyStats.com, which you helped create. Can you tell us a little bit about HockeyStats?
Yeah, HockeyStats.com is a website that I made about a year ago to host the statistical models that I built about 4 or 5 years ago. I built all these models to kind of evaluate teams and predict game outcomes and whatnot. During COVID, I was just bored and didn't have a job yet and built all these models. And I built them up and I work with my business partner, Jay Fresh, and we kind of just shared these model outputs on Google Sheets for years and just kind of left that as it was. I didn't focus too much on it. I kept the lights on, so to speak. And then about a year ago, with Celebrini coming to the Sharks, I started following the Sharks again more closely. I'm a Sharks fan first and foremost, grew up in Fremont. And so I figured I wanted a website to be able to follow my models, follow my stats, and see who the best players are in real time. Like I wanted to be at SAP Center and watching the game in person and looking at what is the Sharks win probability now that Celebrini just scored, or what are their playoff odds if they beat Nashville in the game tomorrow, for example. So that's what HockeyStats.com is at a high level platform that I built as a fan for other fans to enjoy.
Now, when you look at the Western Conference, it's very clumped up, especially for that second wild card and for the Pacific. Per your models and the formulas you got and the data, how do you see this shaking out?
Yeah. So as an optimistic fan, I look at it and I say the Sharks do still have a 16% chance. Right, 16% is not the kind of number that you tune out at. So for reference, to give you an idea, if the Sharks were down 2-1 in a game with about 3 minutes left, they would have about a 16% chance of winning that game. And so you'd say, yeah, they're down, but they're not out. You would not turn the TV off at that point. And so right now is not the time to turn the TV off and stop watching, right? They had much less than a 16% chance to win when they were down 3-0 against Vegas in Game 7 many years ago, and they won that game. So the Sharks totally still have a chance. It's not time to stop watching. With that being said, LA is right now the favorite to take that wild card spot. They have a cupcake schedule, and they have a stronger track record as a team. And Nashville is also ahead of the Sharks in the odds to take that wild card spot. So we do need a bit of help, and we do need some good play down the stretch.
Yeah, you see it here. These are the 5 teams that you're really keen in here down the stretch. How much does strength of schedule play into the numbers that you're getting?
Maybe a little bit less than you would expect. I think when I read fans online on Reddit, they might say something like, oh, the Los Angeles is going to win all 5 of their games, so we really need to win all of ours. And the reality is that even against a team like Vancouver, LA does not have a 100% chance of winning that game, right? It might be like 60 or 65 at the highest. The strength of schedule is important, but fans can tend to overstate it and look at certain games as automatically a guaranteed win or a loss when that's not how the games are viewed in the model, and that's not how they play out, right? Just a couple of weeks back, for example, Colorado beat Vancouver, or Vancouver beat Colorado 8-6.
Yeah.
That's the worst team in the league, putting up an 8 spot against the best team in the league. So all by way of saying a weak team can beat a strong team on any given night. Strength of schedule matters, but it's quite unlikely that LA just wins all 5 of their last games, even if the schedule is fairly weak.
We're talking to Patrick Bacon of HockeyStats.com, and now let's look at this game. Sharks versus the Anaheim Ducks. Both teams have a lot to play for this, but as you look at this with the Sharks, it's kind of make or break for their playoff hopes right now.
Yes, we're about 1 in 5 to make, we have about 5% playoff odds to win this. If we lose this game, the Sharks will be down to about 5% playoff odds if they lose in regulation. If they lose in overtime, around 10%. Those are pretty low numbers. Still not turn off the TV numbers, but those might be like you're down 1-0 with 30 seconds or a minute left in the game. It becomes very unlikely. But if they win, they're up to 29%. And if we get losses from LA and or Nashville tonight, we get right back into a good spot. So even Anaheim could be in trouble if they lose to us in regulation. So this is the biggest game of the season so far. This is the biggest game in the Celebrini era. and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be exciting.